So it seems that their stuff is starting to come out into the light. Their crimes. Um, I'm not surprised at P. Diddy. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with all of that. It will be interesting to see. But it's sad because people are telling themselves all kinds of bullshit. Um, I had someone tell me that all of the violence is coming from the left. No, it's not. In fact, you look at all of these mass shooters, they're not immigrants, they're white, they're men, and for the most part, they're usually Republican. You know? And as far as the child trafficking goes, Aquino was involved with the Republican Party. When he was big, he was right up there with the Republican Party. So my question is, if it's all Democrats and there's not one Republican involved with it, when did the Republicans turn that cash cow completely over to the Democrats? And more importantly, why did they turn it over to the Democrats? You know, this child trafficking thing is both sides, you know, and people don't want to see that. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to talk about it. They only want it to be one side or the other. But the lies we tell ourselves are way more insidious than the lies we tell everyone else. And if you're telling yourself that it's all Democrats and there's no Republicans involved with this child trafficking, you're deluding yourselves. And that's just because I posted something today. You know, I find it a huge coincidence that J.D. Vance comes out and says what he says about that whole cat and dog eating thing. People in Springfield are afraid because of that story. And lies don't matter, you know? Lies don't matter. So what? So they're afraid, you know? So what that J.D. Vance comes out and says they fabricated this shit? The woman who posted it on Facebook, and it's being run by Nazis. It's being promoted by Nazis. What did I deal with out in Algona? Nazis. It wasn't so much that I was dealing with devil lovers as I was dealing with Nazis. Doug Mesner and his little clan, they're all a bunch of Nazis. They think they are entitled to anything they want, and they'll take anything they want because they feel entitled. And it's just frustrating to watch the world and all of this. And I'm not kidding you. I'm no fan of Harris. But I'll vote for her before I'll vote for a bunch of goddamn Nazis. That's just the way it works with me, you know? But then I guess I grew up on Indiana Jones, where Nazis were bad and not very fine people. I just, you know, it's the system that we're fighting. It's the lot of them. And this back and forth, and the only thing that I pray is that when we finally elect presidency, can we stop running elections 24 fucking 7 days a week? You know, can we just get a break from it? Because I don't want to hear all the politicians running for office. It's like it never stops. Shit, all we've had is Biden and Trump and Harris and the Clintons, and every day you can't get away from it. And and they all break bread together. It's not like Trump and the Clintons weren't friends, you know? It wasn't like the Clintons and Trump and Jeffrey Epstein all weren't friends. The election propaganda is so tedious. Amen to that. It's tedious. And it's all a bunch of lies. And then when they come out and say they lied, like J.D. Vance, I've watched the entire interview, you know? People in Springfield have come out and said there's nothing to it, you know? Who knows? The sad part about it is that they have it to where, oh, they're in a dead tie. They're in a dead tie. And you know damn well the election's going to happen and then we're going to just go through the same bullshit we went through last time. You know, and what's so pathetic is that for 4 years, all you heard from Trump supporters, and I live in Trump land. I hated Hillary Clinton, but I got really, really tired of the Trump people saying, your candidate lost. Get over it. Your Trump candidate lost. Get over it. And yet we've had 4 years of them fucking whining constantly because they didn't win. You know? Throw out the TV and the world gets better. Amen. But you miss out on what people are talking about. You know? That's just it. You miss out on what's going on in the world. Most of you don't know that the Pacific Northwest just had a 7.5 earthquake 2 days ago. Shit is going down. And they're expecting from that the new Madrid could be moving pretty soon too. You know? But they have it so focused on all the bullshit. It's like J.D. Vance comes out and says they lied about that cat meme, and then suddenly Trump has another assassination attempt. You know, bye-bye. So then Trump has another assassination attempt. Like, that's not a coincidence, you know? Notice how his ear doesn't have a scar, doesn't have a scab, doesn't have anything, never did. You know, how is that possible? Thank you. I'm a new subscriber, and I just want to say that you calling out the truth out has been a breath of fresh air. Because nobody wants to call it out, you know? I'm just tired of the whole, you know? And the thing about it is, what is it about all these Trump supporters? Fuck, they're all angry. They're angry and hateful and mean and shit, you know? Not that I am on the ultra left, because I am so not on the ultra left. But they'll excuse Nazis. And Nazis, I know from personal experience that Nazis are running this child trafficking ring. That's what's happening. They're all involved. You know? They're all involved. And so that's where it comes down to it. You know, when I was a kid, it was Republicans. Omaha is not Democratic or Democrat, nor is Nebraska. You know? Survivor 2 of some pretty bad stuff. See, that's the thing about it is that I actually come out now. I'm glad because there are survivors who are starting to listen. And what I get is that I validate what they say. People who read my book. I don't know how to transpose this so it's not reversed. This is my book. I am selling my book. Right now, funny enough, I had some people donate to go eat, so I don't want to go spend any of that money. Don't have enough yet, but I don't want to spend any of it. But I'm in serious need pretty soon of getting some dog food, and it's the middle of the month, you know? And so if you want to buy my book, Venmo, PayPal is just my first initial D, my last name Shurter, $30. Tell me who I'm going to transcribe it to and tell me where I'm sending it. And I'll send it right out. Because I'm just trying to do what I can to survive. Like all of us are trying to do what we can to survive. Could you imagine how horrible it would be to work for these jokers? I would never work for either side. You know? Just because I don't like Trump doesn't mean I like Harris. You know? you have a plate of dog shit and you have a plate of diarrhea. So I have to like one or the other? Is that how it works? You know? Because that's basically what we're being served. And choosing one or the other is just, I don't see how it benefits any of us. I don't see how it benefits any of us. That's just personally me. And I just don't, you know. Shit is actually better. That's PayPal and Venmo and just the ways that I get. I suppose that there are other ways. Someone suggested a Patreon account, but for the most part, I'm just trying to survive. And setting all of this stuff up is just. I did get a Rumble account. Haven't done anything with it, but I did get a Rumble account. But I think that the last live video has damn near 680 views now. So people actually listened to what I had to say in that. And people are listening to what I have to say. And for those of you who are interested, the police sketches from Jacob Wetterling that they had for years, I have those posted on my blog, davidshurter.com. Notice how they don't look anything like the ones that they did now. But I think people are starting to listen to that John B. Wells show too, and listen to what I have to say, because I did that interview less than 2 weeks before they solved a 28-year-old cold case that they were on record saying couldn't be solved. So, you know, it's this child trafficking stuff needs to be stopped. It really needs to be stopped. And I can't reiterate that enough. It really needs to be stopped. This all needs to be investigated. I've named names. That's what people say when survivors come out and they start talking and blah, 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 blah. Everyone's like, why don't they mention any names? Why don't they mention any names? That's why I've mentioned names. And I've mentioned names to my local sheriff, who's a Republican, who's been protecting them, you know? And so just because the case is closed doesn't mean it's closed. Murder is a hunt for life. That's just it. I've brought enough to the table that it should at least be looked at. And I thought Homeseth, that Timothy Homeseth dude, was a weird dude. That's why I stopped talking to him. Usually when you're a weird person and you start telling me a lot of weird stuff and acting weird, I just assume you're them. You're part of their circus. So I dismissed him years ago. But I would like to know, was the body they found human? Because Timothy Homeseth says it isn't even human. But then he says a lot of things that I don't, you know, that's why I stand on my own with all of this. And I don't get involved with groups. I don't get involved with other people because I don't trust. Every time I get involved with a group, it ends up being a honeypot. They want all my information and then they go out and do everything they can to trash me. And it's not about me. This child trafficking bullshit isn't about me. It's about the child traffickers. And Timothy is also linked with Grifter Jesse. That is what I've heard. And no, I do not. Do you know that I actually had someone reach out to me about Jess? She's afraid that she's going to get caught up with Doug Mesner. And she is going to get caught up with Doug Mesner. You know, because she's Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, his wannabe girlfriend. And then when I called it out, someone sent me a thing. Do you want to know what? Lucian Greaves has her on his friends list on Facebook or X. I don't remember. I think it was X. you know? And Doug doesn't like to have his detractors on there. He only has friends. And who cares? Who cares if he's gay? Who cares if he's straight? Ew. Ew. That whole fiasco when he, in front of national cameras, pulled out his privates and put them on the gravestone of the ex-West, or the late Westboro minister's late mother's gravesite. And it was supposed to make her gay. Shit, it probably worked. Because I've said before, if he did that to me, it would certainly make me straight. You know? Oh, Johnny, there were three. Johnny Gosch, Eugene Martin, and I don't even remember the other kid's name. Oh, Todd Bequette. That's who I couldn't remember. He was a 14-year-old who got abducted in the old market. His name was Todd Bequette. 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 And that's, if they were going to focus on what was going on in Omaha, you would think that they would actually focus on someone who got abducted in Omaha. He was a 14-year-old kid. They got abducted in Omaha. But no, now we're going to deal with Johnny Gosch. And do you want to know what? West Des Moines? My Aunt Sandy and my Uncle Walt lived in West Des Moines. So it's not like we didn't have connections there either. You know? Todd always needed a real investigation. But what did they say? They said he was a runaway. Isn't that what they always say? He was a runaway. All the kids that disappeared just ran away. You know? There was another kid named Mark, but he wasn't a paper boy. Mark is right, I don't remember the last name. I do not believe my Uncle Walt was involved with any of this. He was wealthy all on his own, but they lived in West Des Moines. We went there every Christmas, you know? And Des Moines is, 3 hours from Omaha? It's 2 hours from me, and I'm an hour outside of Omaha. So it's about 3 hours away. We had connections there. Just like my sister Cindy living in Milaca, and my brother Stephen and my sister Kathy living in the Twin Cities when Jacob Wetterling got abducted. And Jacob Wetterling was right in the middle of all of them. You know? But my Uncle Jack and his family, oh, they were definitely connected. It was my cousin who introduced me to C.B. Rogers, who was doing all of the child trafficking for Alan Bear. And so that's who introduced me. And I was 14 years old when she introduced me to him. And of course, they were always, that's how I knew about the Hollywood bar, because C.B. Rogers took me to the Hollywood bar and showed me the dungeon in the basement. Took me downstairs, and that's where they were filming all of the snuff films, was the basement of the Hollywood bar. But then when it all came out that the Hollywood bar, they were filming snuff films in the Hollywood bar, the city of Omaha tore the bar down and built a parking garage on top of it. And so that's how all of this shit works. That's how it all works. But it's all going to start coming out. What P. Diddy was doing, his little organization, that's not new. He didn't just divine that by himself. That's the same shit Jeffrey Epstein was doing. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't new. Franklin was the precursor to Jeffrey Epstein. You know? Oh, the traffickers lured kids. Yeah. My sister Cindy and my sister Kathy told me how they were constantly being taken to Boys Town to lure boys, to identify them. And then every Saturday, Boys Town was taking busloads of boys from Boys Town down into the old market in the 80s. That's how it was working. That's how it was working. And they were using kids to lure other kids. I never got it because after they made me like that dude on fire, I was always considered damaged goods because they were afraid I was going to tell on them. It took me a while, but they were right. I'm telling on them, you know? No, you can't, as a survivor, you can't trust many people. And if they're trustworthy when you meet them, chances are they won't stay that way because this group will seek them out and coerce them any way they can to join their side. Money, blackmail, anything. That's how I think they got a hold of my sheriff. Is that they found out about the drug operation that was going on in Harlan that everyone seems to know about. You know, I didn't know anything about it, but then people in town started watching my videos on YouTube, and people started coming and telling me all kinds of shit about the drug trafficking stuff. And those who have millions of dollars of fun end up with millions of dollars of trouble. Yeah. The thing about rich people, and I grew up with them, they're bored. And life, when you can buy and sell anything you want, life really has no allure. And when life has no allure, you end up doing weirder and grosser stuff to amuse yourselves. That's how it works. The rich people do not live like the poor people. We never went to Applebee's to go eat. We never were out in the public. We were always in private things. I think the only time that we, other than Church's Chicken, we went to Mr. C's once. And it's just hedonism leads and hedonia. I don't know that word. Andre, give me a definition of that word. I like to learn. And I'm not one of those people who pretends to know everything. If you ever use a word that I don't know, I want to know it. Define it for me. It means the inability to feel pleasure. And that's just, they're miserable and they're bored. Temptations will help you lose your soul. Yep. And that's exactly what they've done. You know, they've lost their souls. And people around them, how was it referred to? A lot of the people, especially around here, are temporarily embarrassed billionaires. They all want to be them, but they just don't have the money yet. So they're temporarily embarrassed billionaires. And it used to be millionaires, but now, but all of their shit is falling down too. It's all falling down. And we just got hit with another X flare, 7.5 earthquake in between Washington and Pacific or British Columbia. They're expecting more. They think that the whole North American plate is getting ready to move, which means if it moves, that means the new Madrid is going to move. And then we're in for some shit. Because I'm telling you, the Midwest isn't set up for earthquakes. We get a big earthquake in the middle of the country, this country's doomed because all the houses are going to come down. You know, they're pretty much made of plaster and wood. You know, there's no earthquake preventions with any of that. But the child trafficking stuff is going to come out. It's already starting to come out. And there's no way around it. And I named a lot of shit. And that 2-hour live video that I did that has damn near 680 views, that was 2 hours. I could sit down and talk for days on what I know about all this stuff. That's the reason why they're trying to bring me down. The rich usually fall apart after 3 generations. First one is spoiled, second one blows it, and the third one is lost. Yeah, look at them. You know, look at them. I mean, I hate to Biden with Hunter. Trump with Don Jr. and Eric and Ivanka. You know, the DNA is seriously dropping. You know, they don't have a clue. And you look like that music reviewer guy from YouTube. I don't know who that is. My hair is pulled back, but it's wet. I just got out of the shower and it's still wet. I just wanted to come on because I like to keep up these videos so that everyone knows that I'm still okay, because it's always questionable. You know, day before yesterday, Andy Villa sent me another email telling me how they were going to take my dogs and blah, 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 blah. All I did was forward it to police and investigators, and all I said was, this dude is mentally ill, but he still needs to be investigated. And that's with all of them. Because I've named names. It's easy to go look. And so, oh, Jesus. I'm 58 years old. Losing my hair is no big deal. I have more hair than every male in my family. So, insulting me about losing hair, as you can see, I still have hair. Lots of it, you know? So, I'm not quite sure why that even comes up and is an issue. But I guess whatever, you know? I guess ice cream tastes sweet until it tastes like hot pepper. Until it tastes like dirt. And that's just it, you know? I'm okay. My dogs are okay. For the time being, I don't know. You know? They threaten a lot. But hurting animals is now a federal offense. And if you think I was bad about Owen, oh man. I just am really tired of these Nazis. I'm 68. See, the whole thing about it is, don't you feel like you're lucky? 54. I'll be 58 this year in December. And we're lucky. We're lucky that we got to be so old, because I don't think the younger generation is going to see that. You know, that's the reason why these Nazis, they all go on my age too. They're really, they really have a problem with age. With age comes experience. Only the young people who criticize the old are ignorant. That's how it works. The older you get, the more you experience. Be wise and be aware. Exactly. You know, youth is wasted on the young because they're just dumb. I'm grateful to be in my 50s too. The last time we were in here, someone was getting ready to turn 19 years old. Oh my God, you could not pay me to go back, especially now. Be 19 now? Oh man, it was bad in the 80s. Now it's just... But for those who watch this, I'm trying to raise money for dog food. My book, Rabbit Hole, David Shurter. Hey Sherilyn, I did get nominated for Book of the Year. As you can see, I got to get it close enough to do that. You can't really read it really well, but you can see Book of the Year. That was edited. I mean, I didn't just do this on myself. I paid to have this done, and they helped me edit it and everything. So, but Venmo, PayPal, D Shurter, and I won't share any of the information. I just need to know. I've already talked to my publisher, and the next book when I wrote Rabbit Hole, it took me 4 months. This one is taking me a little bit longer, but publishing it, going through and getting all of the publishing stuff, that took at least 6, 8 months. And so I don't know when the next one's coming out. Again, I'm writing 2 books at the same time, not together. They won't be one book. It's just that I'm kind of writing one about my experience and my thoughts on the gay stuff and all of the political stuff and all of that. That's one. And I'm trying to make it a bit humorous. And the other book is what happened after I published Rabbit Hole. Because people have been wanting to know, well, what happened to you after you published Rabbit Hole? And so I'm writing that one too. But I'm also trying to sew, and I'm trying to make money because I'm hurting. I have people who have helped. I'm not discrediting that at all, and I so appreciate it. But everything is really expensive right now, you know? And I'm eating a lot of macaroni and cheese, which I'm fine with, you know, macaroni and cheese and salads, and I grew some tomatoes and some basil, so I eat a lot of tomato basil salad in the winter or in the summertime. I've actually started dropping weight, you know, that's kind of a cool thing. You know, it would be really cool if you did sewing on the cover of one of your books. I had someone suggest that to me, and so I'm actually thinking about doing that, so we can take a picture of my artwork and put it on the thing, because it just promotes everything then, you know. You got blessed, Sherilyn. I'm glad. And thank you. I'm old. My hair. And you want to know what? The little microwave shit makes my hair fall out in clumps. That's what's happening to my hair. Because you can see this, but it's I can't condition it enough. And taking a bath is disgusting, because if I take a bath and I rub my hands through my hair, I'll come with the hair just all over my hand. And it's their little microwave bullshit that they're trying to take me down with. They're trying to take me down any way they possibly can. You know, the do stuff, you know, I'm not going to wear a wig. My dad wore a toupee. I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. If I lose hair, I mean, it's not like I don't have a huge ponytail. My hair is down to here, you know? It's just that I've always had a high hairline. I've always had a high hairline. Ever since I was a kid, I thought I was going to be bald when I was 18. As it is, you know, I'm 58 years old. I think I look pretty damn good for 58. I know people who are 58, and I don't look like them, so, you know. I just got myself out of pre-diabetes by losing 64 pounds and cutting out sugary foods, which is really hard, as sugar has been one of my addictions. Yeah. Sugar used to be, I mean, I don't much care for sugar. Unfortunately, I'm way more of a lemon. I like the bitter. I don't much care for the sweet. And thank you. You look very healthy for 58. Late 40s or early 50s. I get that. Do you know that I'll tell people how old I am, and I've had to pull out my ID because people will argue with me? But my dad was like that. My dad, you know, my parents, I got that. And my mom lived through everything. That's the reason why they're having a hard time bringing me down. My mom lived through pancreatitis. She got drunk and passed out in the middle of the winter in the Twin Cities in a parking garage and didn't freeze to death. She broke hips. She got into a car accident. A year before I was even conceived, she got into a car accident. They threw a towel over her because they thought she was dead for 30 minutes until she started moaning. That was my mom, you know. My mom, we'd constantly take her into the hospital, and the doctors would tell me, "You better say goodbye to your mom. She's gonna be dead soon." And I got to the point where I just never paid any attention to it. The last day I put her in bed, I knew she was gonna die, and it was because she caught a flu that I had just gotten over, and I was healthy, and it knocked me down for 9 days in a way that I'd never experienced before. So the minute and I had to take care of her while I had the flu. What was I going to do? You know, look younger. Yep. But then you live fast and furious. You look like you've been ridden hard and put away wet. And I don't live, it's nothing for me to be in bed by 7 o'clock in the evening, but it's nothing for me to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning either. I've always been an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy. Don't drink much, I know that you guys have seen me on here drinking wine sometimes, but that is so infrequent. And I only was doing it because it was kind of nice to be able to drink wine and do these live things. But even then, it alcohol hurts my stomach. I get sick before I get drunk, so I don't really even drink. And the hard liquor, you can save it. There's nothing I've had. Margaritas, but again, one margarita could make me sick, and I'll throw up before I get drunk. So, you know, people like it when I wear bow ties. Someone said I look super nice in suits. I wear, it's not today because it's gonna be in the upper 80s, but in the wintertime I wear suspenders, bow ties, vest jackets or vests. Sometimes I will wear a jacket, I just right. There's so much trouble I missed. My mom always used to tell me, nothing good happens after 2 o'clock in the morning, because the bars would be open till 2. And then she started saying nothing good happens after midnight, which with me growing up, yeah, I could see that. I mean, really, nothing happens good after 10 o'clock. But I never really smoked. I tried smoking. I didn't like it, and I looked stupid. When I had a cigarette, if I had a cigarette in my hand, I looked stupid. And I didn't start smoking because of vanity. That's, I guess there is something to be said about vanity. And smoke pot, but now I hardly even do that. And fuck, who can afford it? I haven't had pot in quite a while now because I can't afford it. If it comes to buying some pot or feeding myself and my animals, I thought I looked cool. I did not look cool. And now, from what I understand, cigarettes are like $10 a package. When I was smoking, it was way back, in the 80s when I tried. And I think they were like $2 a package. Now they're 10. I watched someone buy 3 cartons of cigarette things. Just, wow. And they tasted awful, And that's the other reason why I don't get drunk. My mother was an alcoholic, a major, major alcoholic. And so I kind of turned off from drinking with that anyway. But if I drink really fast, I can get drunk. But then if I drink really fast and I get drunk, my hangovers last 3 days. And I'm not talking headache. I'm talking I give myself the flu for 3 days. Who wants to do that? Who has time to waste 3 days? What, so I can get drunk? I don't see the point. I dislike pot, but for some reason I get it as a gift all the time. Well, I wish I had friends like that. Nobody, But then I don't have people. I have people who are really trying hard to hang out with me, and I've had to tell them, I can't. I can't hang out with people. It's not safe. After Owen, I realized it's not safe for me to hang out with people. It's not safe for me to get close to people. And I remember Winston cigarettes being $1, and yeah, they were like $1.75, $2, and even Marlboros for a while were that cheap. If I get stuck in an old folks home at 80, I'm thinking about starting cigarettes. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You know, I don't want to end up in an old folks home. My dad did too. My dad loved Marlboros. He loved to smoke, and he quit for the longest time. But then when he got cancer and he was going to die, he started up again because he said, I like to smoke. I never really liked to smoke, you know. Now lately, I will say, boy, if I had any, I would be smoking pot right now because things have just been stressful. The threats on my dogs, the threats on me, getting attacked, constant emails and the constant mentions and all of that shit from the Dead Issac Kappy Club. At least they finally figured out. Maybe if you're being investigated, it's not a really good idea to attack me because I'm just going to send it off to fucking investigators. And people watch their shit. So if there's anything I need to know about, they get a hold of me and contact me. You know, making me crave. Oh my God, I stopped cigarettes 10 years ago. Do you watch movies when they smoke and then feel like you want to smoke a cigarette? I never do that, but I watched some show, I don't even remember what it was on. It was on Tubi. It just came on. They were all smoking pot a couple nights ago, and I got tears in my eyes because I just wanted to do it too. You know? I breathed in enough of my dad's smoke. Yeah. Both my dad and my stepmother smoked for a long time. How many times did I get trapped in a car with them? And they don't want the windows down, ever. You know? I just wanted to come on here because I'm not so stressed today. Things are, you know, I don't know. I think things are being investigated. Finally, I think people are actually starting to look at stuff. And it does my heart good to know, because that's all I've ever wanted. All I've ever wanted is just this to all be investigated. You know? Do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. But I have enough it should spur someone to investigate it. And now it finally is happening. And I'm very thankful to God, because I thank heaven, because that's how it's working, you know? I think that this whole P. Diddy thing is going to start fueling stuff. I just think that the whole P. Diddy stuff is really going to start fueling a lot of this look into child trafficking. And I really do hope that they look at the Satanic Temple and that stupid after-school daycare bullshit, because that's how it's working. And they're all fucking Nazis. The Dead Issac Kappy Club, a whole group of Nazis, nasty motherfuckers who do nasty motherfucking things and brag about it. That's what a Nazi is. And they're not even Nazis. They're Nazi wannabes. There's nothing original about them. In World War II, Nazis were kind of a new thing. And so they kind of paved their way. Now they're just doing what they used to do, you know? And a lot of them, nothing original. Hey, Demon Saki, nothing original. Nothing original. They think their hate is original. No, it's not, you know? Other people have answers too, and you're giving them courage. Thank you. That's what I'm hoping. Is that, because I know there are a lot of you out there who know stuff. I, without a doubt, learned that with the whole Dead Issac Kappy Club. Because those people, there are a lot of you out there who do not like them and had all kinds of information. Because after Isaac, I left. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. And then I bought this house, and this whole house needed work. And I got involved with all of that. And so I wasn't, you know. But then when I started talking about Isaac Kappy and opening up comments, I just, you guys just needed someone to come and rally the troops. And that's what I did, I think, is kind of rally the troops. I'm not the leader, but at least I gave you guys hope enough. Because they can't take all of us down. That's just it. They can't take all of us down. And they've tried to take me down over and over and over and have failed repeatedly. So I have to say that heaven is definitely involved and trying to help. I really admire your bravery, David, as being courageous myself. I don't have the balls to do what you do. You don't have to do what I do. Do whatever you can do. Just make sure that you do something, you know? Sitting on your hands and being okay with it is, it'll only lead to bad places as far as I'm concerned. I'm preparing for my new puppy today. I need her so much. Sherilyn, you will love having a dog. You will love having a puppy. You will. I'm a big animal person. I love animals. I love wild animals, you know? I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but now I'm out of bird and squirrel food, so I have to go get that too. That's why I'm trying to sell books. Rabbit Hole, you know, a satanic ritual abuse survivor story. PayPal, Venmo, D. Shurter. I have been sewing a little bit, but that takes a lot of time. You know, it does, it's not anything that you can just whip out. And so it takes a while. And you have to be in the mood to do it. I have to be in the mood to do it. Because if I'm frustrated or anything like that, I just fuck everything up when I'm doing it. I have to be focused and into it to actually do it. Any artist will tell you that. And I'm not saying I'm an artist. I'm just saying that when you quilt, it's kind of like that, you know? Rabbit hole for squirrel snacks. Exactly. Shit, the other day I almost thought about getting a sign and taking it to Omaha and going sitting on a street corner saying I need food. Hold on. There's a lot of activity, and they watch every motherfucking thing I do. And they're out there honking right now. And it's, I don't know why. It could be a distraction. Maybe they have something that they need to do. I don't know. They are on top of me all the time, trying to close me down and quiet me. And I don't, you know. If they end up taking me down, don't cry no tears, because I did what heaven needed me to do. But I don't think they haven't had a real easy time, obviously, since I'm still here. You know, even with them blasting me with their shit, I'm still here. I'm still upright, still doing stuff. You know, but then I could be right on death's doorstep and I will do the same shit, because I will never give them the satisfaction of seeing me less than what I am now. You know, there was this sweet old woman who just walked around paying the meters for people downtown. They frickin' arrested her. Doing good is still worth it, even if it's small. Exactly. And they don't, because they get a lot of money. And you can't do that in Omaha anymore. You can't there's no more coins. It's all digital. You have to give them your credit card number to be able to do it. It all is online now. And stand strong as a mountain. Isn't that what we're called to do? Isn't that what our faith calls us to do? Is to stand strong no matter what. No matter what storm is right in front of you or around you, we're all supposed to stand strong, and that's what I try to do. I try to put I guess this is a bad way to phrase it, but I put my money where my mouth is. We're supposed to lead by example, and that's what I try to do. is lead by example. I had an old couple the other day who knew me, and they were buying water. It was a great big 5-pound thing, and her boyfriend was funny because he was just like, ask him. And I heard him say that, so I turned around and said, what do you guys want to ask me? And they were like, would you be willing to follow us home and carry this water in? Because they're an elderly couple, and they could not carry that 5-gallon jug of water. And I said, sure, I'm not doing anything. I'll follow you home and take it in. And so, of course, they were just, and they're poor. So she was just like, I wish I could give you something. I was just like, I don't need anything. It just the fact that you let me help you, build up your treasures in heaven. I'm a big, big fan of that saying, build your treasures in heaven. And they were so appreciative that I did it. And then I turned around to him and said, but that's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to help those in need. And I don't think he was, but she just, oh my God, you actually are trying to live the scriptures. And I was just like, that's what we're all supposed to do, is live the scriptures. That's why this whole thing, I started off being upset when I first got on here, because this whole eating cats and dogs in Springfield, and now Springfield, all of them are afraid. They've had to close down schools for death threats. Kids are not scared enough to go to school. And that's what they're having to deal with. And everyone's just like, oh, it's okay. Well, it's not everyone, but there's, a bunch of people who are like, well, it's okay. Get over it. It's always okay when it happens to other people, but when it happens to them, they're the biggest fucking wine bags you've ever seen in your life. And it's just not okay. Exactly, Sherilyn. It's not okay. And now, and especially when I found out that all of this is being fueled by this neo-Nazi group, I fucking hate Nazis. Because that's what I'm battling with the child trafficking. They're all goddamn Nazis. That's what I was dealing with in Algona. That organization that finds out where the Nazis are centered. Algona had an amazing amount of Nazis. That's the reason why the Algona police were helping Doug Mesner, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. It's okay if you're a fucking Nazi if there's an R after your name. No, it's not okay. It's not okay if there's a D after your name. Nazis suck. Self-entitled dumbasses. Uneducated, just mean and nasty, and don't offer anything to anyone. And you really can't call them white supremacists anymore, because the color thing, that's out of the window. I mean, the leader of the Proud Boys was Latino. So I'm tired of these hate groups. I completely agree with you. I'm tired of them. I don't think they're very fine people. That's just me, But then I used to watch Indiana Jones, and wasn't he always fighting Nazis? But nothing between the ears. A lot of wind, and a lot of want. They all want. That's all they do, is want. They want your shit because they feel entitled to your shit. Haven't done a fucking thing to earn anything. They're fucking dumbasses. Most of them have never attended a fucking college class. And they feel they're superior. It's just, I don't much care for Nazis. And that's an understatement. Right. It's like evil gets glorified and the truth, logic, and common sense labeled as bad people. Because we're in the end. Good will be called evil, and evil will be called good. That's what we're going through right now. That's what we're going through right now. And it's frustrating to be in these days, but we got to do what we got to do. You know, we got to do what we got to do. And I just figure coming on here, the last live video I did was really intense. I named a bunch of stuff, talked about my family. This one wasn't, I didn't want to be so intense this time. I just, even though they do say that the most intense people are also the most intelligent people. Because if you have a brain in your head and you think, there's no way to avoid the frustration of what's going on in today's world. We are at the end times. We are definitely at the end times. Everything is being brought out into the light. Their child trafficking bullshit is being brought out into the light, And I will say, when everyone wants to talk politics, okay, so Bill Barr raided Jeffrey Epstein's island, but nothing came out of it. But Biden is president, and now the DEA is taking down P. Diddy, One did stuff and nothing happened. One's doing stuff and we can all see it happening. And it's unmistakable. Again, I don't like Biden. Didn't like him when he was with Clinton because I didn't like the Clintons. But I do have to say that at least some of the stuff is getting taken care of, Your history is dark and it's good to let people know. And how can you not be angry? Talking about the stuff that I dealt with my father and having to go through the investigation the last time. That's why I don't like to talk about it. And I don't like to think about it because it ends up pissing me off because it's so frustrating. That's the reason why I have so little hair, because I'm just tearing it out all the time because I'm so irritated by what's going on. And, but I think that things are starting to come around. I think they're starting to be looked at. I know that gas station's being looked at because the gas station thing is so blatant and in your face. The official report says one explosion that leveled the place, but the facts of the matter that were reported by KETV, and what's funny about that whole KETV thing is, for the longest time, they didn't have that video up. They had the article, and you could reach the article, but the video wasn't there anymore. And in the last few months, suddenly that video is back up. But KUTV are one of the people that I'm letting know because they were the ones who reported on the gas station. They know their own reporting. And they know that there wasn't one explosion that leveled the place. And why would you lie like that? Why would you so blatant? It's so easy to disprove, Insurance fraud has very good investigators and they don't play. And that's the reason why one of the first things I did when I started to get mad about it was reach out to the insurance companies. Sent them a copy of the official report and then sent them to the KETV news report that happened that day. And again, that was all God. Because who could have foreseen that day how important it would be that KETV interviewed Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross and interviewed me on the same day. And they interviewed me because, of course, I was standing in front of my sister's house. She was in Omaha, and I had to go down and look at what was left of my sister's house. It blew out all the windows. Had she been in the house, had anybody been in that house, they would have been seriously hurt. And, right, 2 explosions will attract insurance investigators. And the fact that they lied about it definitely is going to attract insurance investigators. And they don't have to take my word, they can go look at KETV. One explosion that levels the place. Okay, one explosion that levels the place. All of their explanation is great, but that's not how it worked. So if there's one explosion, and if you look at that KETV report, it leveled, they are showing pictures of it leveled. So how did Dan go outside, then go back in, get his brother-in-law and get them both out to safety. What he dug through the rubble, you know, he had to, and his brother-in-law didn't get hurt even though he was buried under the rubble, you know. No, it didn't work that way. And because I can prove that, because not everyone can make that happen. That's a lie that not everyone can pull off. So there's going to be a question of who was behind that made that possible. Same people who did Jacob Wetterling. Because I did the John B. Wells show, and then less than 2 weeks later, a 28-year-old cold case that couldn't be solved was solved. Of course, there were brand new abductor pics, and the story changed, you know, and doesn't even make sense because the dude, they couldn't recognize him because he had a stocking cap over his head. But it was 9 o'clock in Minnesota, and it wasn't summertime, so it wasn't like there was light, you know. Just got to be low-key gray man to escape detection. See, there's no way for me to escape detection. I had someone tell me they're gonna make a file on you, and I started laughing, and I told him I think there's a lot of files with me. Neil Gross told me one time that he saves all my shit. There's a whole file named Dave Shurter that he has. That's what he told me. It's not like he didn't have the stuff, you know? I just slid my Connemara marble ring on, going to slap a smile on his face and go help someone. Hey, and I'll just let you know, this is my Connemara marble. My cross, my Celtic cross, this green, that's Connemara marble, you know? And then Irish claddagh, that's what that is. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. You know, my mom was Irish. Sherilyn, go have a good day. Sometime we should get together since we're close and have coffee or something. Go sit. We could go sit downtown at that park, but I don't understand why they spent so much money and ripped up that park because it doesn't make a lot of sense. But Omaha's never made a lot of sense. Just want everyone to know, because I just keep repeating it, because I need dog food. Rabbit hole, David Shurter. I did have someone who helped me this month, and dates and figs. That's what I just want to say to them. Dates and figs. But I had stuff that I had to take care of this month. And I ended up getting a new email. And that wasn't cheap either. So those of you who want to reach out to me, david@davidshurter.com, you can reach me there. Because that's the new email that can't get fooled with. You know, they can't break into that one. My Gmails, they seem to be able to do whatever the fuck they want to it. But I think all this Nazi bullshit is getting ready to be looked at. And if I was Doug Mesner, I'd be shaking in my fucking shoes. Because, dude, you're going to be the first person they lop off. If they can put it off all on you, you know they're gonna. You know this group better than I do. You know? They're going to figure out how your satanic after-school daycare bullshit is connected to it. They're going to find out. They probably already have. And the Dead Issac Kappy Club. Because Isaac was taken out because of the shit he was investigating. You know? And notice how the Dead Issac Kappy Club is never pointed out who it is. That little actor dude, who's what, 5 foot tall? You know? I saw him on television, on YouTube. Something came up. The dude's 5 foot tall. He's not doing all this child trafficking all by himself. You know? Right. I have a sterling silver keychain of Michael the Archangel, and I keep it on me at all times. We were surrounded by psychic vampires and other sickos. Yeah. Yeah. Trust me. I'm well aware of that one. You know, unfortunately, he does have some serious health problems. He has. I've called him out on it before. He has been sharing his health problems with others, which is also illegal. It's called fucking murder, dude. You know? Having a virus and then going out and having unprotected sex and not telling people that you have a virus, that's murder. And I've called him out on it more than once. And instead of saying it wasn't true, what he always does is, who told you that? Who told you? Like, I'm going to tell him who told me that. But the fact that you have to ask me who told you me that tells me you're having a lot of sex. I mean, if you said that to me, I'd be like, well, so-and-so, and then I'd go confront him. But if you're having a lot of sex with God knows who, you know, why is it always disgusting with him? Because the dude is disgusting. And it is a felony. It is a felony. And he's going to be looked at. And people don't like him either. You know? That's the whole thing is that all these people have enemies. They all have enemies. And I have enemies, but it's all them. Because people who actually know me in real life really do care about me. They like me. Because I'm a nice guy. I try to help people, you know? I was told by someone that I got mad at and stopped talking to him. And a year and a half later, they found me and said, you were the best friend I've ever had. Because I tried to be a good friend, you know? We're supposed to support each other and care about each other. That's what we're called to do. And going out and doing a bunch of nasty shit to people, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but for me, I don't do it because it's draining. The best way to drain your soul is go do a bunch of nasty shit to people. You know, it's so much better and so much more worthwhile to be uplifting to people and try and help them. It's just so much better. But then you can't do that and be a fucking child trafficker at the same time. Doesn't work that way. And that's what I've been dealing with. Child traffickers. And good deeds do. They get rewards. And that's the reason why I do shit. And I don't ask for anything when I do stuff. Sometimes people, you know, will do stuff because they just feel like they want to. And I'll, you know, but, and then they bless themselves doing that. But otherwise, if you do stuff and you're not right there wanting a reward, heaven will bless you greater than you ever could think of for yourself. That's how it works. Heaven will bless you. It's not trite. It's not stupid stuff, you know? I help people too because I want them to have a better life than the one I came into. Exactly. That's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, and none of this has been easy. You know? For years, it hasn't been easy, and these people have been relentless in their attacks. They were relentless when I was in Council Bluffs. They were definitely relentless when I was out in Washington. And they've been relentless since I've been in Omaha. And I do it because I don't want other people to go, I don't want other kids to go through what I went through. And the whole, over and over and over in my life, I've had people ask me, why do you care? Why would you even, you know, why? And it's because I don't want them to go through what I went through. Because when I was going through it, people knew it and didn't do a fucking thing. I guess now, looking back, what could they have done? Especially in the 80s when it, you know, 60, 70, 80, where everything was out of control. What can you do? But heaven has blessed me more than I ever imagined or deserved. Amen to that. Amen to that. I have been blessed way more than I ever imagined or deserved. Even with opening up these comments, I would have never been able to talk to any of you had I not listened to God and done what I was told to do. I would have never met any of you because I didn't open up comments. I never interacted with anybody. I did videos, but you couldn't interact with me because it was always them. But heaven has come and shown me the world isn't just full of bad people. There are good people too. And there are people who care. And there are people who will, the world is not all bad. In fact, for the most part, if given the chance, most people are decent. It's just that a lot of them are weak and easily led. And I just, with that said, I'm going to say a prayer and I'm going to get off here because I'm kind of stressed out. I also need to go get rats for my snake. And I don't have anything for that either. It's just when I tell you that if you donate money to me and I'm telling you that I need money for a certain thing, I only spend that money on that certain thing. I'm not just going to take people and have people give me donations and just blow them all and waste it on whatever. I don't do that. And so I had someone who helped me, help me get that email because I was having a problem with my emails. And so they helped me. And I used everything they gave me because that's what I quoted. And so I did exactly what I said I was going to do because I'm not going to dupe people. And people on here have told me, well, if you get donations, you can do whatever you want with them. Well, I understand that. And yeah, but on the other hand, no. I'm obligated to do, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do that. Right now I have $50 that people have donated. So right now in PayPal, I have about $50. But you guys donated that because you thought me going to that Brazilian restaurant, which I talked about the last time, was a great idea. Well, I can't spend that money then on other stuff, and I'm just like that. If I tell you I'm going to do something and I'm asking for donations, then I'm going to do what I'm asking for with those donations. I think it's just the right thing. Otherwise, I'm duping people and I don't want to do that. And I'm not a grifter. Grifters don't self-publish a book years ago, and I've only started to ask for donations in the last year. I'm $30. You get my book, I sign, I'll transcribe it, I put a little, I'll sign it right here, write a message into it, I just, it's easier to think that the world when I'm not driving in Boston. I was homeless in Boston for about a year. I lived in New Hampshire, then I moved to Boston, and the Bank of New England crashed when I was living in Boston, and rents skyrocketed. And I couldn't afford rent. I was working as a waiter, making almost nothing. And I think it was God who put me in that position because that was years and years and years and years ago before I ever was with my partner, took care of my mom. I was in my early 20s and the Bank of New England crashed and I ended up finding myself homeless because I couldn't afford $1,200 for rent every month. And I couldn't afford to feed myself. And Boston was, I loved Boston. Boston, what people don't realize is Boston is the first and I think the only walk-in city. You can walk in Boston and hit all of the places. And of course, I was living right by Copley Square. So my rent was not, I didn't live in a cheap area. And I'm on YouTube but haven't got enough subscribers to be monetized. That's a bummer. I do have enough people to be monetized. on YouTube, I'm just not going to do it because I'm not going to be told what I can and, more importantly, what I cannot say. And so I don't monetize. I didn't I spent years thinking that I should never ask for a dime for any of this because my family has a cost to all of this because of what we were involved with. And so for a long time, I never asked for anything. But Penny is the one who told me, well, you do so much. Why don't you ask for donations? Everybody who does podcasts and stuff, they all ask for donations. And when I looked into it, she was right. And so I started asking for now I don't care. I'll ask for donations. And I sell my book. And I'm working on artwork to try and sell. But for a long time I didn't. So I didn't monetize it. That's the reason why my blog is completely free. Everything I do is free. If you want to donate and you feel compelled to donate, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. But if you can't, or you don't want to, if you can't, I completely understand. I couldn't donate to anybody, not where I'm at right now. But and if you don't want to donate, that's okay too. It's okay too. I don't judge. We all make our own choices. We all have our own paths to follow. And it's just that my mom always told me, if you don't ask, you'll never know. And so my mom is the one who taught me. But then my mom also used to be one who would go to garage sales and haggle. I don't haggle at garage sales. Never did haggle at garage sales. That's right. YouTube has their wacky rules. Don't want to monetize. Have lived far west. I didn't live in California, but I loved the Pacific Northwest. But the stuff that I was involved with, maybe it would have been better had Doug Mesner not been living 23 miles away from me in Tacoma. But it was hard living out. I loved the Pacific Northwest, just the area and all of that. A lot of homeless people. There's a lot of people to actually help out there. And like I said, I would end up feeding people. And there was one time this dude, I ended up buying him a sandwich at the grocery store, and he had to get a hold of someone, so I let him use my phone. And I heard him on the phone say, some dude just let me use his phone. And I heard the person on the phone said, wow, that's not a normal person. And I heard the guy say, no, he's not a typical person. He's letting me use his phone. He didn't run off with my phone, and I was standing. I mean, I walked over and was looking at fruit because we were in a grocery store. I went and bought him a sandwich, and I like to help people, and sometimes I don't have any money, and sometimes if you look like you're on drugs or something, I won't give you money, but I'll buy you food, even though I'm asking for donations. I will tell you I said something the other day where some dude didn't have a leg and he was asking for money, and I ended up in traffic turning around and going back, and gave him half of what I had. I think I had $20. I gave him a $10 bill. I may have only given him $5 because I think I might have only had 10. It was not a huge amount, but I gave him half of what I had because I have both of my legs and I have a house that I live in. I don't live outside. And so I just feel, this economic coma got me locked in strict chains of bondage. Yeah, me too. I live in the Rockies. Oh my God, I would love to live in Colorado. I would love to live in the mountains. I'm envious. Mountains. My ultimate is that I would love to live by water, but it doesn't necessarily have to be an ocean. If I could live in the mountains by a lake or more than on a lake, that would be my version of heaven on earth. As it is, I live in Iowa, which is not bad. My house is not bad. The meth heads that live right beside me, they're a bit much to take, especially since they're involved with all this bullshit. been helping my sheriff try and take me down, break into my house whenever the fuck they want. That's been big. We all have, we all have to carry our crosses. Isn't that how they say it? I loved Marion County, California, but it's a dark, cruel place with beautiful weather. I didn't like California at all. I didn't like California. I've only been there a couple times. Traffic sucks. The people suck. Talk about a group of people who are self-impressed. And I didn't like that at all. My friend lives in Idaho, close to the mountains. I like Idaho. Don't much care for the Mormons, even though I'm baptized Mormon. But I would love to be in the mountains. But then it's not safe for me. When I was looking for a house, I wanted to get an acreage, and my friends begged me not to move to an acreage because they knew I wouldn't be safe. What they told me was, you're gonna move to an acreage and then you're just gonna disappear. So they wanted me to live in town, and so I did. Grand Junction. I think I've been in Grand Junction before. Grand Junction, Colorado is pretty affordable and is only 1 hour away from the Rocky Mountains. That would be amazing. That's the best part. That's the only good part about driving, what is it, 80? Interstate 80 through Nebraska. Terrible drive. Till you get close to Colorado, and then the mountains are just amazing. And I would love to live with wildlife. Your friends are right. The woods. Yeah, I was looking for a house because I wanted to raise chickens, and because chickens would give me eggs. I would never eat the chickens because they said, oh, well, after 5.5 years, then you kill them because they don't lay eggs anymore. Well, after 5.5 years, after a day or two, they'd end up becoming my pets. I couldn't kill them, let alone eat them. And no, I'm not eating the pets. Nobody is eating the pets. That's the thing. No one is eating the pets. It's a lie. It's a lie from one Facebook post. So now we're supposed to believe everything. I don't even go on Facebook anymore because there's so much stupid shit on there, And so I would love a cabin away from people. I would love that. You'd see these things of, could you live in this cabin for a year and not see anybody for a year and all of that? Yeah. More than a year. Once I spent a year, I wouldn't want to move. Yeah. Chickens are the sweetest. Keep the old hens, and the old ones teach the young ones how to hide from hawks. Exactly. And no, I do not hate humanity. I wouldn't be on here. Oh, dude, I'm not playing this game. Get out of your mother's basement. Live a little. I just don't understand people who just don't have anything better than to be trolls online. Don't you have anything better to do with your life? Is there nothing better you can think of to do? It's just, really? I guess I have, I can always find something better. A cabin in the woods would be heavenly right now, but I wouldn't think it would be heaven for me because they're wanting me so bad. I wouldn't be safe. I'm not safe here, and I live in town, but obviously I'm still here, but they break into my house. That's why it's hard for me to leave, because I don't know what they're doing in my house. Because they get into my house every time I leave, and they want me to know that they were in my house. So they do all this bizarro shit. So I know that they were inside my house, and I don't know what they were doing. I guess it's supposed to feed paranoia, but there's nothing I can do about it, so why be paranoid, it's weird, it's weird. But I'm going to pray quick. I've been on here for an hour and a half. I'm going to try and do these podcasts a couple times a week. the whole doing videos, unless I have something that I want to say, but these are so much nicer to do because the videos that I do, I usually do those videos when I'm irritated. And so everyone seems to think that I'm constantly irritated when I do the videos. And that's not who I am at all. I'm not usually, And so I like to do these live videos because you get to see who I really am. Because I'm just normal on here now. Thanks for doing this. My pleasure, Sarah. This actually is a pleasure doing this. Being able to actually talk with people and interact with people is, that's why I go out in public, because people like to interact with me. And I like to interact with people. I like people. I care about them. I care about all of us, I wouldn't be here doing the shit that I've been doing if I didn't care. I wouldn't be doing this. I have other things I could easily be doing, and going after child traffickers isn't a pleasant experience. That's why if you're not ready to be put through hell, then take a stand some other way. The way I do it isn't for everybody because they come at me hard and fast and furious. And but I have always felt that because of what my family's involvement in all of this, I owe all of you. I owe humanity, and that's why I do this. But let me do a quick prayer so I can end this. Father, I come to you. I thank you. Today has been really pleasant. This podcast probably isn't for everybody because I didn't really talk about all that much important stuff, but it did my soul good. So thank you for bringing us all together. Guide us all so that we can best fulfill the word and do what you need us to do. We are but servants to you, and I am grateful. And the bad side would say I'm a servant to nobody, but I am grateful that I can actually serve you. It does my heart good, and I appreciate it. And I just am very grateful for your son who came and instructed us how to live the word, and in so many ways it has saved me. I had a devil lover who actually came on and said something nasty this morning that I blocked. And I really thank you, even though it's not you, but I thank you for the block function. I love that function on social media. But anyway, I'm grateful for everything that you do. And even though things are stressful and I'm way tight financially right now, I just realized that you have all of us in your hand. And what's going to happen is going to happen, and it happens for a reason. I firmly believe that. Be sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. That's the whole definition of faith. And we know that because your son taught us that. And I say these things gratefully in your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. And so, I don't get in water. And I'm sorry, but I ain't gonna go swimming in it. If it's not chlorinated, I ain't fucking swimming in it. When I was a kid, I would jump into anything. I would swim. I didn't have a care in the world. Now that I'm old, no. Unless it's chlorinated. And chlorinated to where I can smell the chlorine, I ain't jumping in. God knows. I mean, there's a state park 10 miles from my house, and they're telling people, don't get in the water. The water will kill you. It's full of bacteria, because it's so warm. It's so hot. And so I'm right there with you. I don't get into water. So lastly, my book, Rabbit Hole, David Shurter, Venmo, PayPal, just my first initial D, my last name, Shurter. And if you do that, it's $30. Tell me who I'm transcribing it to. Tell me where I'm sending it to. I try to get them out the same day or the next day, unless you do it on a Saturday, and then I can't do it till Monday because our post office isn't open on Sundays. But this has been a lot of fun. All of you in here, I'm not going to name you because a lot of times I don't like them to know, and I don't leave it so that the chat, I don't even know how I put the chat in here. But yes, get rabbit hole and feed David and the critters. Right now you'll be feeding the critters. I went out and bought some popcorn and some pasta. I eat a lot of carbs, but carbs are cheap. Meat is kind of expensive, so I try not to eat a lot of meat. I'm saving up so I can go eat that Brazil, but I'm kind of afraid because I don't eat a lot of meat, and I want to go to that Brazilian place, and that's all they serve there. But I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna go get nice and gussied up and stuff. But I really do miss my friend Owen, and it would have been so much more fun to go with him because he so appreciated stuff like that. I do really miss Owen. He was a casualty in all of this. I've had a lot of them. That's the reason why I don't hang out with people anymore. It's not safe. You'll end up being a casualty. The closer you get to me, the more of a target it paints on you. And I'm not gonna do that. Meat does have nutrients that are important to heal you, you know? I will say that I went out and bought a small rack. It cost me like $10 at Hy-Vee, a small rack of ribs, and I just grilled them the other day. And I'm still eating on them. But because I don't eat a lot, I can't eat a lot. If I go to this Brazilian restaurant, I'm gonna have to spend a week where I eat a little bit more than I usually do, because I ain't spending $50. Because it's like $55 a person. But you have to have an appetite to actually make that worthwhile. And I've had, you know, make the bones with soup and veggies. That's what I do. I save the bones, wash them off, get the barbecue sauce off, and then I boil them and get the marrow out with chicken stock and vegetables. Now that it's becoming wintertime, I'll eat a lot of stuff. Watch out for that fake food and those recalls. Oh, yeah. Be careful of the recalls. And I don't eat ramen noodles. I don't eat ramen noodles because ramen is really salty. But I did hear that you don't put the seasoning packet in there and then it's just noodles, and those are okay. But you have to watch out for everything. You have to watch out for everything now. And right lately I've been eating a lot of tomatoes and basil because I grew 3 tomato plants this year and 6 basil plants. So I eat a lot of tomato and basil salad. Go out and get a little thing of feta cheese, cut it up, throw feta cheese in there, and every once in a while I'll saute chicken and put chicken in there too, because chicken used to be cheap. Now it's not cheap. It's just as expensive as steak. But where I live, pork is cheaper. So I kind of eat pork, even though I'm not a big, I mean, I know this sounds weird, not that you guys care, but I'll eat bacon, but I'm not a big bacon fan. It's really salty. Bacon generally is really salty, and I don't much care for salt either. And Marcella Hands-On's tomato sauce is so good I eat it like soup. I kind of like that. I you know, make a lot of pizza because I make my own dough, fry up some hamburger, throw in some mozzarella cheese, and that's great. I like to put jalapenos on it too, so I do eat that. I eat a lot of hamburger because you can get, but it's gross hamburger. I know I'm eating slime because I get it in those plastic tube things where you can't even see what the meat looks like. You know, I just don't think about it. And so hamburger meat, 30% lean, big package was $15. Yeah, you can get that, you know? You can get that. And I go shop at Aldi's a lot because Aldi's is cheaper. A Super Saver in Council Bluffs is probably the cheapest. It's just about as cheap as Aldi's. Out here, it's kind of rough because all we have is Fairway and Hy-Vee, and both of them are expensive. Smashing down biscuit dough hardly counts as pizza crust. I've never done that before. I didn't know you could do that. See, I wouldn't use biscuit dough because doesn't biscuit dough rise? And I don't really want, you know, and it's nothing to flour, water, baking soda, you know, or baking powder, one of the two, and doing all of that. You can, you know, I try to buy grass-fed meat when it's on sale. I have a friend of mine, if I can come up with it, she told me that if she goes out and buys a cow, she'll let me buy a quarter or an eighth of a cow. When she gets it, I just throw in money and she'll, and that would really be helpful. Because then I could get, you know, hamburger, roast. I like to get a nice roast because a roast can feed me for, it's since it's just me, it makes it easier. I love, now we're getting to be Thanksgiving, you can get a turkey on sale. I like to buy a couple turkeys because a turkey, I'll bake a turkey and then I can make casseroles and soup with it. One turkey will feed me for a week, sometimes two, depending on what I make with it. You know, it's just when you're poor, you have to learn how to cook. First of all, which I came from a family of cooks, so that wasn't hard. But you have to know how to make things that are cheap, and I do, you know, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. If you know how to use spices, you can eat cheaply, and it still doesn't have to taste shitty because you know how to use spices. I just last month I went out and bought a cranberry herb rub, and I just thought out a couple. I had a chicken breast thing. I'm not sure because it's been in my freezer for quite a while. It had ice chunks on the chicken, but I don't care. I'm still gonna cook it. So I figured that I'll just boil it and then put cranberries in it. And I have a rosemary plant. I like to put fresh rosemary in there and shred it and then put mayonnaise in there because I love chicken salad sandwiches. Those are probably my favorite. And so cooking is a joy and a savings. I just can't go out and spend $20 or $30 for a meal. That's one meal. And a lot of times you spend $20 or $30 and you don't get leftovers. So you're spending $20 or $30 on one meal. And I can't, I'm poor, you know. I'm talking about food because it's what, 1 o'clock and I haven't eaten shit all day. So that's why I'm talking about food because I'm also hungry. And I don't have much, so I think it's a peanut butter sandwich. But I'm afraid of eating my peanut butter because I can't keep peanut butter in the house. They break in. I said this before. I told a friend, it sounds crazy. I tell them they're breaking in and eating my peanut butter, and I got told they're not eating your peanut butter, David. They're feeding it to your dogs. And it never dawned on me. That was somehow even worse. But I know they fool with my food, but I can't think about it. I just can't think about it. Okay, I'm going to get off here. I've been on here for an hour and 40 minutes. It's so easy to stay on here for longer periods of time because it's so much fun to talk to you guys. You know, it really is. You guys are just a joy to talk to. And I love these kind of ones where we're talking about food and just light, simple, fun stuff. You know, I don't want to talk about the child trafficking stuff all the time. I don't want to be focused on it 24/7. It's miserable. But anybody who can donate, I would definitely appreciate any donations or get my book, $30, Rabbit Hole. Venmo, PayPal, just my first initial D, my last name Shurter. Um, so it's D Shurter for both PayPal and Venmo. For those of you if you need to get a hold of me, I would use my new email, david@davidshurter.com. Um, it was necessary because I know I'm not getting my mail. I know through my Gmail and stuff like that, I knew I wasn't. People were sending me stuff and I wasn't getting it. And it got to the point where I was getting really irritated. And so, and no, those are not my dogs. That's my notification sound. And stuff for YouTube and stuff like that. Focus on positive, not negative. Exactly. I have to focus on all this bullshit all for enough as it is. So when I come on here, like last time I came on here specifically to talk about stuff. I know someone asked me about someone who interviewed me and they sent me a link that was on YouTube, Clay Douglas. I don't know who he is. He interviewed me. He was fine, but that was years and years and years ago when I was doing the whole interview thing, going on people's interviews and stuff like that. But I don't know who he is as a person. And the stuff that they sent me, if that was really him, it didn't sound like him. It sounds like it was fake. But maybe it was him. And the shit that he was saying, I didn't appreciate. No, I didn't appreciate it. But then I'm not homophobic. I'm not racist. If I don't like you, it's because you've done something and I'm judging you by your own fucking behavior. I don't judge you. I don't judge people by the color of their skin or how well, I think that you hold people accountable to their own personal stuff. And stereotypes are stupid. There's an exceptions to every rule, And saying that all Haitians in Springfield are eating dogs and cats. Well, first of all, that was a fucking lie anyway, promoted by Nazis. But to say that it's stupid, you're an ignoramus if that's what you're actually, the soul has no color. And you judge a tree by its fruits. That's how it works. You judge a tree by its fruits. If they're a bad person and they show you that they're a bad person, then that's what you hold them accountable for. But I'm just, on the same hand, the whole gay thing, no, for me, the whole gay thing doesn't work anymore. That's why I'm celibate. It doesn't make me attracted to women, but I don't want to get into another relationship, and because I don't want to get into a relationship, a one-night stand is not what I'm interested in. So I just rather go without. And I've been without since I got divorced, which was, God, well over a decade. It has to be about 12 years now, And, it's been a long, long, long time. I lived out in Seattle. I moved to Seattle after the divorce, lived there for about 4 years, lived in Erling for about 4 years, have been here for about 4 years. And so it's been quite a while. And I don't miss it. I don't miss it. It'll be a cold day in hell before I get naked and jiggy with anybody, ever. I don't want to see myself naked. I certainly don't want anyone else to see me naked. That is probably way too much information for you guys, but I'm hungry and I need to go eat. So this has been a pleasure. Thank you guys. It's always been a pleasure. And I'll do this again sometime this week, probably closer to the weekend, Friday or Saturday. And I might even get to the point where I do this 3 times a week because I like these better. Are you really gay? Yeah. I'm not attracted to women, but around here, I guess I don't act gay. So, and am I gay because of my abuse? I don't know. Maybe, maybe. I don't like the gay lifestyle. I hate the lifestyle. Haven't been in a gay bar in probably 2 decades, you know, not interested at all in that. But I'm not really, I wouldn't say I'm celibate. So what difference does it make? You know, I just am not interested in getting naked and jiggy with anybody, male, female. It makes no, you know, gay is not an act, it's a way of thinking. There's a definite feminine side to my nature that I appreciate a lot. I'm an artist. I sew. I cook. I like to clean. I'm a caregiver. All of those are feminine traits. And I like all of those, you know? But I'm also a guy. I don't want to wear a dress. Don't much care for it. Did it for a couple Halloweens. The last Halloween that I've ever participated in, I was still with my ex at the time. And we were going, I was with a group of straight guys and they were all going as Blue Devils. And I don't have kids. Don't have kids. Which is a really good thing. Because if I had kids, they would have used them against me. And I would have set myself up. God actually, as crazy and as much as some of you are probably not going to much care for this statement, God bless me being gay in this life. Because had I had kids, they would have used them against me. And that's what they do. That's what they do. They use people's kids. And then they take their kids and put them in terrible stuff. And so, you know. So, with that said, I got to get off here. I got to go eat. So, have a great day, guys. I'll see you soon. Buy my book if you can. If you can donate, that's great. Otherwise, I'll be back here, you know? So, hey, of course, Gov, you come right when I'm leaving. But I got to go because I got to go eat. My stomach, as Winnie the Pooh would say, there's a rumble in my tummy. And I got to go eat. But this was probably a nothing podcast. If you guys listen, if some of you listen to this and then at the end you think, God, he didn't really talk about much. He was just kind of was all over the place and just talking about fun stuff. That's what I did this time. So I'm just warning you that I started off talking about serious stuff, but then I just felt like, you know, didn't want to do it. The only thing I'm serious about is get my book because I need dog food. I'm not out completely yet, but it's getting close. I'm a little bit worried about it. And I definitely need a rat for my ball python. And so I'm just cash is a problem for everybody right now. You know, I'm not in this boat by myself. And so I understand that. At least I have a house. I'm not living under a bridge. You know, not running from bombs like other people are. Yet. God only knows. That'll stay. But so I'm blessed more than a lot of the population on the planet. But still, and like I said, my mom always told me, you'll never know if you don't ask. So I ask. And I don't judge. If you can, great. If you can't, I understand. If you don't want to, I understand. You know, I understand. No judgment. I hope to see you on here next time, you know, because I try to educate people. It's just that this one I didn't do much educating today. You know, but then I don't have my bow tie on. I bought this t-shirt, this purple t-shirt. This was a Goodwill find, you know, and it says it's a patch, but it seems to be coming off. And bloom with grace. I just kind of like that. You know, I go to a church thrift store. You can buy a t-shirt for $1 usually. And all of the stuff that you buy at their thrift store, they also have a pantry. So all the money, hey Jeffrey, all the Jeffrey I'm not living in a van down by the river, right? I miss Chris Farley. That is a hilarious skit. But it says bloom with grace, and I really like that. But I see that it's fallen apart, so I'm going to end up going, I was very gay at a young age. I've gotten less gay as the older I've gotten. When I was a young boy, I was somewhat flamboyant, you know? And so I've gotten more masculine as I've gotten older. I guess that's, what you be. But flitting around and talking gay and takes a lot of energy. And I just don't have the energy to be all that gay, Incidence of gay increases with birth order. I was the youngest of my mom's kids. But my brother was gay. He just couldn't deal with it. He was bisexual, I would say. My dad was bisexual. That's the reason why he abducted little boys. There were no my dad didn't abduct little girls. Not for the most part. It was little boys. Ricky Chaddick, Jacob Wetterling. Johnny Gosch, it's my dad liked little boys, didn't like little girls. And but as I got older, and then when because my dad and my mom, my dad kept me away from my mom. I didn't really get around my mom. There was a period when I was 14. After they made me light that dude on fire, my dad kept trying to get rid of me. He sent me to my sisters in Milaca. That was when I was 13. Then sent me to my mom's when I was 14 and tried to throw it in my face that I was gay. And my mom looked at my dad and said, "Oh my God, I'm so glad we have a gay son. At least one of our children has taste." And I've never forgotten that statement. And for those of you who have gay kids, just realize they're probably the ones who are going to take care of you in your old age. That's how it works. Gay guys generally end up taking care of their parents, especially their moms when they get older and stuff like that. Again, exceptions to every rule, but I'm a definite caregiver. I'm a definite caregiver, always was. So I took care of my mom for the last 5.5 years of her life. Tried to help my dad when he was dying, but thank you, Gov. David at davidshurter.com. I don't know if you know that, but that's the email that I'll get David at davidshurter.com. I'm sure I'll get those emails. And if I find out that I'm not, I can always call someone because now there's security along with that. And you can't do that with Gmail. They don't, there's not a lot of customer support with Gmail. So David at davidshurter.com is probably the best way to get a hold of me now. Because I'm not sure I get my emails anymore. And I know damn well that people are leaving stuff on my YouTube that I never see. That people are leaving stuff on, unless you're fucking bitching at me. If you're bitching at me and criticizing me and saying nasty shit, every one of those seem to get on my YouTube. They'll let every one of those go. Today, the devil lover who didn't like what I had to say about Jesus Christ called him the Nazarene. Yes, but only fucking devil lovers, and was telling me how Jesus Christ had gotten 2 things wrong. Turn the other cheek, that was one of them. I don't remember what the other one was. I just blocked him. I'm not letting that nasty shit go on my venue. It's my venue. Nasty shit's not going to go on there. If you don't, if you have a problem with Jesus Christ, go talk about it on your own venue. But I know that the people that are on my venue won't appreciate it, and I certainly don't appreciate it. I don't care to hear about it. And that's my prerogative. It's my venue. And so, with that said, Last thing, I'm selling my book, trying to raise money for dog food. If things get too tight, maybe I will do a sign. I just don't see myself going out and standing on the street corner with the sign. But my dogs are kind of pushy, and Lucy's hungry, so I need to go get a rat for her. I go and get frozen rats and then thaw them out. And so I just tell people, if you donate, it's going for dog food. I pretty much have the money for the restaurant except for the tip, because all the donations, it ended up being $55. But I will say that if I don't get donations or I sell books, I might have to use that to go get dog food and rats. I'm sorry. I know it was given to me for a reason, but if I don't feed my dogs, they'll be eating me, not the other way around. But then again, nobody's eating dogs and cats in Springfield. And they admitted that they made that up. J.D. Vance said he made that up. And then a few hours later, we had another assassination attempt on Trump. But the dude is fine. He gets shot in the ear and it didn't even scar. It doesn't even look like it. There was no scab. A few days later, when he took off that stupid thing, his ear looked like nothing had happened. So I don't know if they're going to lie about Haitians eating dogs and cats. I think they'll lie about anything, And I'm not saying that I'm all a big fan of Harris, but I'll vote for her before I vote for a bunch of Nazis. That's the way I was raised. Nazis are bad. I can't believe that we're at a point in a time where people have to be reminded of that. You actually have to be reminded that Nazis are bad people. Look at what Richard Spencer was doing in the Pacific Northwest, in the town that they were taking over, running people out of their own fucking homes. It's all up there. You can go investigate and see for yourself. It wasn't like it was secret. Nazis are bad. And all of the child traffickers that I'm dealing with are all fucking Nazis. That's the one thing that connects every fucking one of them. They're Nazis. They may not be devil lovers, but they're Nazis. Here's a picture of Trump's ear 2 weeks after getting his Zoom. Oh, I'm getting a low battery. I only have 10% to my phone. People have pointed out, I've seen pictures, it's amazing. And ears don't heal like that. When you rip the cartilage, when you get those things in your ears, they tell you, don't do it. Because when they take it out, your ear, it's not like it goes back. It's not like it fills in. Cartilage doesn't replace itself. Shit doesn't happen like that. Fuck, that's like grade school science. The fact that it has to be explained is just frustrating beyond belief, And no, that's not saying I like Harris, because I really don't care for her. But I'll vote for her before I vote for a bunch of fucking Nazis, They're not very fine people. They're the ones making my life hell. They're the child traffickers that I'm going after. So if you like child traffickers and you're okay with child trafficking, then go be friends with Nazis. But if you're friends with Nazis, please don't come in here, because I'm not going to be nice to you. I'm not nice to Nazis. Indiana Jones and I have that in common. Bye, guys.